The year my boyfriend was at his poorest, I broke up with him. Later, when he became successful, he used every means to marry me. Everyone said I was the one who got away, his most beloved wife, until later, he started bringing different women home every night, breaking my heart and making me the subject of gossip in their circles. But I never cried or made a scene, quietly staying in the study and never disturbing his escapades. He was furious, kissing my lips savagely and whispering, "Aren't you jealous?" He didn't know I was sick. Every day, he exacted his wild revenge. I was silently counting down how many days I had left to live. In the 3rd year of my marriage to Marcus, he kept as a mistress a young, beautiful college student. The girl's name was Chloe, and she was pure and lovely, exactly Marcus' type. Marcus had kept her for over half a year. Aside from me, she was the woman Marcus had kept around the longest. My friends warned me to be careful, saying Marcus seemed to be genuinely falling for Chloe. The first time I saw Chloe was on my birthday. I had been bleeding from my nose since the morning. At the hospital, the doctor said I probably only had until next spring. I nodded gently, whispering, "It's okay." I wasn't afraid to die, but I was a little afraid of pain. I heard there was a very expensive medicine that could make my remaining time more comfortable. Since the money in my debit card wasn't enough, I went to Marcus' office to find him. I happened to run into Chloe there. She had just graduated and was working as Marcus' secretary. Marcus was in a meeting, so I sat outside and waited. Chloe kept staring at me, secretly telling her colleagues nearby, "Is that Marcus' wife? She's so ugly, so gaunt, like she's about to die. You all say I look like her. But how? I am much prettier than her." My reflection stared back from the gleaming glass, bare-faced, bundled in a bulky puffer jacket. I wasn't looking good, and I was almost dead. A colleague tugged on Chloe's arm, whispering, "That's just because she's not dressed up. If she put on makeup, 10 of you put together wouldn't be as pretty as her. Also, don't think you can provoke her just because Marcus favors you. You have no idea how much Marcus loves her. If you upset her, Marcus might just ruin you." Hearing that Marcus loved me so much, Chloe pouted defiantly and rolled her eyes at me. She offered me a cup of tea, and in a soft, sweet voice, she asked, "Grace, how could Marcus let you wait so long?" It's strange, whenever I came to see him before, no matter how busy he was, he'd always come and spend time with me first. He said I was the most important. I thought he was just as considerate to other women. She curved her eyes and smiled sweetly. The way she smiled was very much like how I used to smile when I was younger. I thought about it. Marcus really did treat Chloe differently. He had countless lovers, using them as tools to spite me, bringing different women home every night, testing my reactions over and over again. Marcus never stayed with them for long, perhaps a day or two, perhaps 10 days or half a month, but he always grew tired of them quickly. Only with Chloe did Marcus keep her outside, taking her to dinner, shopping, and movies. They were like an ordinary, loving couple. Marcus gave her money, and he gave her love. I looked at Chloe, smiled at her, and gently asked, "If he's so important, how could Marcus bear to make you his secret mistress? You should really persuade him to divorce me soon, and marry you." Chloe's expression instantly changed. Enraged, she lowered her voice and cursed me. "The unloved one is the mistress, is the superfluous one. Aren't you just banking on having met Mr. Marcus a few years before me? But now you're old and ugly. What do you have to compete with me?" Her colleague probably feared I'd get angry and quickly came over, grabbing her arm to pull her away. Actually, I was fine. I had already told myself I wouldn't get angry over Marcus, nor would I be sad because of him. Even less would I compete with other women for his attention. He wasn't worth it. Chloe was yanked, lost her footing, and fell to the ground, shattering the cup in her hand. Her palm was deeply cut, and blood spilled onto the floor. Through the glass of the conference room, Marcus saw the injured Chloe. Everyone watched as he threw down the documents in his hand, pushed the door open, and pulled Chloe into his arms. He cursed coldly. Will the hell hurt her? The kind colleague took 2 steps back, her face turning pale with fright. I sneered. "I did it, and she deserved it," Chloe cried, glaring at me and shouting, "Yes, I deserve it. Who told me to fall in love with the wrong person, and we called her mistress and the other woman? But Marcus, as long as you love me too, I'll stay by your side forever. No one can separate us." She was crying so prettily, even saying such absurd things. She seemed brave and resolute. Marcus was amused by her. He raised a hand to wipe away her tears, coaxing her. They're all tear-stained. He truly treated her differently. I lowered my eyelids, too bothered to look anymore, and simply said to Marcus, "For my birthday this year, I want 500,000. It was ironic. We were married, yet we didn't even have each other's contact information. Aside from asking for money, I never sought him out proactively. Before we got married, we had an agreement. He wanted me, and I wanted his money. Marcus had always hated me for being a gold digger, but in the past, whenever I asked, no matter the amount, he would give it to me, always more, never less. Only this time, he looked at me with a cold, slow smile and said, 'You can have the money, but Grace, first lower your proud head and apologize to Chloe.' Marcus was going to use 2 million to buy my dignity and an apology for Chloe. This was the first time he used money to humiliate me for another woman. I slowly clenched my fists and gave a faint smile, suppressing the sudden surge of pain in my body. I turned and left. I didn't want the money. I suddenly became very curious. Marcus, if one day you knew this money could have helped me live a little longer, if you knew how much I suffered before I died, what expression would you have? I returned home alone, curled up in bed in agony, sweating profusely from the pain. I took some sleeping pills, convincing myself that once I fell asleep, the pain would be gone. In a haze, I dreamed of my 20th year, when Marcus was poor, but he loved me so much that year, on my birthday, I passed a coffee shop and saw a couple sitting by the glass window. The girl held a small, pristine white cake that looked exquisite, delicious, and very expensive. I remember it was snowing heavily that day. I held a small pile of snow, smiled at Marcus, and asked him, "Jan, does this snow look like cake?" Marcus gritted his teeth, pulling me into a tight hug, hiding his secretly reddened eyes from me. 3 days later, he appeared at my dormitory building with a large cake. A whole cake cost 258 yuan. He stood on the windy, snowy street, where handing out flyers earned him only 100 yuan for 3,000 flyers. I saw the frostbite on his fingers and cried out, ashamed of myself. I looked up and shouted at him, "Marcus, your hands are meant for reading, for writing, but never for you to damage it just to make me happy." I said I didn't deserve such an expensive cake at all. Marcus frowned, immediately refuting me. He said, "Grace, you are the best girl in the world, and you deserve all the good things in it." That day, I cried as I ate the entire cake. A long time has passed, and I no longer remember its taste. All I know is that after that day, I never seemed to have a better tasting cake than that one again. I slept for a long time, in a daze. I heard my phone ringing, answering the call. I heard Marcus shouting my name from the other end. "Grace," I smiled softly, sweetly calling him. "Jan, it's snowing heavily. I want cake." Before he could speak, I turned over and fell back into a deep sleep. I slept until midnight, then woke up hungry, going to the living room to find something to eat. I discovered Marcus had actually come back. He had bought a big house for Chloe. They lived together there. Chloe would cook for him, make him happy, and wait for him to come home. Marcus was doing well. He hadn't been back in a long time. He leaned lazily against the French window, a cigarette dangling from his lips, staring intently at me. I passed by him, my eyes downcast, when he suddenly grabbed my arm. He frowned, asking softly, "Why have you lost so much weight?" His tone was gentle, as if he still loved me very much. I froze, then forcefully shook off his hand, cursing him. "Marcus, what the hell is wrong with you?" He looked at his empty palm, and his expression slowly turned cold when I walked to the dining table and saw a cake covered in candles. I realized that call hadn't been a dream. I had said I wanted cake, and Marcus had bought it. What was this? A peace offering. But I was dying. I no longer needed a cake, nor did I need Marcus. I grabbed the cake and threw it into the trash. Marcus gritted his teeth, pushed me against the wall. He cursed viciously. Grace, are you playing games with me? I smiled, admitting, Marcus, yes, I am playing games with you. What about it? I said I wanted cake, and you went and bought it. Why are you still so pathetic? Just like before. I deliberately twisted the knife in his heart, watching Marcus' face turn completely cold. He furiously snuffed out his cigarette, dragged me into the bedroom, and threw me onto the bed. Marcus must have been insane with rage, like an out-of-control beast. He roughly tore open my nightgown. I was scared. I balled my fists and punched him. Marcus, you bastard. Don't touch me. Disgusting. He pinned my legs, preventing me from struggling, then bent down and bit my neck, making me cry out in pain. He pressed close to my ear, cursing. Grace, would it kill you to just give in a little? Do you know how many years I've waited for you to comfort me? Do you know how happy I was when you told me you wanted cake? And then you fucking play games with me? He raised his head, staring at me with bloodshot eyes. I held back my tears and glared back. In the dim room, neither of us spoke, neither willing to concede first. Marcus leaned down, closer and closer, about to kiss my lips, when his phone suddenly rang. It was Chloe calling. Marcus paused, then answered. I heard Chloe crying, asking him, Mr. Marcus, are you really going to abandon me for Grace? You clearly like me. I am at the bar right now. I've had a lot to drink, and there's a man harassing me. I am so scared. Please come pick me up and take me home, okay? Marcus didn't speak. He just stared at me, smiling coldly, and softly commanded, Grace, beg me to stay. If you just ask me, I won't leave. He seemed to have forgotten. A long time ago, I too had swallowed my pride and begged him, Marcus, can we just talk calmly for once? Can we stop fighting? Can we just be together properly? Can you please be a little kinder to me? That day, Marcus stared at me indifferently and said with a smile, Grace, you're not worthy. Those 3 words had been stuck in my heart until today, when I could finally return them. I grabbed his collar and said, word for word, Marcus, you're not worthy. Marcus fell silent for a moment, then suddenly chuckled self-deprecatingly. He brought the phone to his ear and told Chloe, wait for me to pick you up and take you home. Without another glance at me, he got up and slammed the door shut as he left. The next day, photos of Marcus fighting another man over Chloe circulated in their circles. This was the first time his affair with another woman became public knowledge. Several reporters were waiting outside my house. When I stepped out, they swarmed me with questions. Marcus' office had grown rapidly in recent years, gaining significant influence in elite business circles in the capital. He was young, wealthy, and handsome, famous online, often trending. Ashley asked me, Mrs. Grace, do you have anything to say about Mr. Marcus and Chloe? I continued walking, not looking back, and retorted, one is a cheating husband, the other is a woman who willingly became a mistress. What do you expect me to say? Ashley chased after me, continuing to ask, but I heard that when Mr. Marcus was at his poorest, you dumped him for money. Later, when he became successful, you used emotional blackmail and every trick in the book to marry him. Now, Marcus has found true love. He and Chloe are a perfect couple, yet you insist on holding on to the title of Mrs. Grace, and you call others mistress. Don't you think you're bullying people? I stopped, sneered, and snatched the press ID hanging around Ashley's neck. She was an Ashley, and her press ID's card holder still held her Nanshan University student ID. I calmly asked her, "A close friend, aren't you? When you used every means to marry me back then, did you think I actually wanted to marry him? Everyone in our circles knows about this, don't you? Or are you just here to spread slander to help your little mistress friend get ahead?" Her expression changed instantly. She snatched back her press ID in a panic, defensively arguing, "She and I are friends, but I am a reporter, and everything I say is objective and fair. If you truly didn't want to marry Mr. Marcus, and he's fallen in love with someone else, why don't you divorce him?" I smiled, about to speak, When my nose suddenly started bleeding again, making me look a mess, someone mocked me, saying, "Mrs. Grace says she doesn't care, and that she was forced to marry Mr. Marcus. But look how upset she is, even bleeding from the nose." I dabbed away the blood on my lips with my fingertip. I calmly stated, "I am not upset. I am just sick and dying. I've been bleeding from my nose a lot lately." The crowd suddenly fell silent. Everyone stopped laughing, only continued, "Stop faking it. Just a nosebleed and you start pretending to be sick and pitiful. I really can't stand women like you. You're constantly playing dirty tricks, acting like you're dying just to snatch a man. You're a disgrace to all women." After saying that, she swung her ponytail and walked away. Her back was as irritating as clothes. The video of me being surrounded by reporters quickly went viral. Marcus responded directly, saying, "I will never divorce her. Stop bothering my wife." That same afternoon, close reporter friend was fired. Many netizens cursed me. "This woman is disgusting. If she didn't want to marry him, she shouldn't have. Why act like someone forced her at knife point? Stop pretending to be helpless." And they say Cher's boss the one who got away. I think Cher's just a hypocrite. Boss defends her so much. I am jealous. Moreover, this woman dumped boss for money before, and now Cher's married boss for money again. When she says Cher's unwilling, Cher's just feigning purity. Cher's a whore trying to play the saint. Suddenly, a netizen interjected, "Clean up your mouths, all of you. If you don't know the truth, then shut the fuck up." Everyone started pressing him, asking what the truth was. The whole thing, honestly, is quite cliché. That year, Margaret was diagnosed with a terminal illness. The doctor said there was a high genetic predisposition for this disease. Not only could I fall seriously ill at any time, but if I were to marry and have children, my child would likely also face the risk of inheriting the disease. The day Margaret's illness flared up, she bled a basinful from her nose. She lost too much blood and was in a coma for 3 days. When she woke up, she told me to break up with Marcus. I stared blankly at her, whispering, "Margaret, he won't dislike me." It was as if I was speaking to Margaret and also to myself. Margaret gently squeezed my hand and nodded, saying, "I know, he's a good boy." She paused, then smiled, and said, "You two have been dating since high school. He waited for you every morning at the alley on his bicycle. Did you think I didn't know? One time I saw him buy a gourmet sandwich for your breakfast. He had 12 yuan in his pocket. The sandwich was 10 yuan, and with the remaining 2, he bought 2 cups of coffee. One for him, one for you. You were greedy and naive back then. He lied and told you had already eaten, and you believed him, happily eating your gourmet sandwich. Young was so pitiful back then. His parents were divorced, nobody wanted him, and they only gave him a tiny allowance each month. He lived like an orphan. 12 yuan might have been his entire daily living expense, and he spent it all on you, without a second thought. At that time, I thought my daughter was lucky to have found such a good boy. He was good at his studies, a good person. He was good in every way. It was precisely because he was so good that I felt sorry for him. That year, Marcus' grandmother was also hospitalized. He had grown up with her, and they shared a deep bond. He was swamped every day trying to pay for his grandmother's medical treatment. Margaret said Marcus was too burdened, carrying his grandmother and then me. He wouldn't be able to fly. I dug my nails into my palm. It was a long time before I finally said, in a trembling voice, "Margaret, I can't let him go. Just one word, can't let go." And tears streamed down my face. Thinking back to what happened 10 years ago still makes my heart ache. I bought Margaret's favorite Persians, preparing to go to the cemetery to see her one last time. I was dying and needed to tell her I wouldn't be coming anymore. Before I went, I first went to Marcus' office to get something from him. When we're still alive, she always liked Marcus very much. That year, she wasn't sick yet, and Marcus and I were still deeply in love. Margaret went to a spiritual retreat and prayed for 2 lucky figurines. One boy lucky figurine held Marcus' birthday, and one girl lucky figurine held mine, to protect peace. health, and ensure that those who loved each other could always be together. Margaret asked me to give the lucky figurine to Marcus. Marcus didn't want his lucky figurine. He insisted on taking mine. He said the girl doll with the rosy cheeks looked just like me, adorably ugly. He said when he saw her, it was like seeing me. He liked seeing me. That figurine was still on Marcus' desk even now. I was afraid that when I died, Marcus would throw it away like trash. Margaret bought it for me. I had to get it back and place it in front of her tombstone to be with her for me. When I arrived at the office, Marcus was watching a video of me from that morning, where I was bleeding from my nose and saying I was dying. Seeing me, he threw his phone aside, saying nothing, asking nothing. I looked at his desk, and the spot where the lucky figurine used to be was empty. Frowning, I asked him, "Where's my lucky figurine?" Chloe followed me over, hearing me ask for it. She said with a smirk, "I pricked my palm a couple of days ago, and Mr. Marcus felt so bad. He said he couldn't bear for me to be hurt, so he gave me that lucky figurine. He also said that doll looks a lot like me, a bit clumsy, but he really likes it." Grace, don't you think he's talking nonsense? I am so pretty. I am nothing like that ugly doll. I clenched my fists furiously, glaring at Marcus, and demanded, "How dare you give away my belongings to someone else? Margaret got that for me, from a spiritual retreat. How could you just give it away?" He chuckled, infuriating me like a jerk. "That figurine is yours." "My apologies, I forgot. I thought it was just some worthless trinket." Before he could finish, I picked up the ashtray from the desk and threw it at him. Marcus didn't dodge. The ashtray hit his forehead, drawing blood. Chloe shrieked, cursing me. "Are you crazy? Hitting people over a stupid doll?" She turned and ran out, returning quickly with my lucky figurine in her hand. She threw the lucky figurine at me, yelling, "Here is your thing back. It's cheap junk that no one would even care about if it were thrown away. Do you think I want it? Stop being crazy, take your stuff, and leave." The ceramic lucky figurine fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. I saw my name and my birthday broken into several pieces, just like my life. It seemed beyond repair. I suddenly felt like I was truly going to die, but I didn't want to die yet. I hadn't seen Margaret. I was afraid she would keep waiting for me. If I didn't show up, my head buzzed. I raised my hand and slapped Chloe, screaming like a madwoman. That was Margaret's. I care about it. I do care. Before I finished speaking, tears streamed down my face. I reached out to grab Chloe, but Marcus grabbed my wrist, stopping me. My eyes burned. I stared intently at him, and as I cried, I started to laugh. I cursed him. "You know I am dying, and you still bully me, Marcus, you're truly worthless." He raised a hand to wipe away my tears, and retorted, "First the cake, now a dying. Grace is playing games with me. So much fun for you. You don't need to cry for my benefit. I won't feel sorry for you anymore." Before he could finish, a drop of blood suddenly fell, splattering onto the back of his hand. My nose was bleeding again, this time worse than before. My legs felt weak, and my whole body ached so much I couldn't stand. I collapsed straight down. Marcus caught me in one swift movement, shouting, "Call an ambulance." He was helpless, only able to watch as my blood flowed more and more, staining his white shirt red. Even in my coma, I heard Marcus crying, asking over and over, "Why? Why won't the bleeding stop? Please, no more blood. Grace, please, don't scare me." I smelled the antiseptic in the hospital. I heard the doctor tell Marcus she could have lived until next spring, or even longer, but she said she ran out of money and wouldn't continue treatment. Now her condition is uncontrollable, and there's no need for further treatment, Marcus retorted, so saying my wife is dying. Before the doctor could speak, he suddenly raised his voice, cursing furiously, "I want my wife to live. If you can treat her, then treat her. If you can't, then get the hell out and find someone who can." That day, Marcus almost trashed the hospital room. He found countless expert teams, saying he'd spend any amount of money to keep me alive. But a terminal illness isn't something that can be cured just with money. Marcus was obsessive, refusing to listen to anything. He wanted to discharge me and take me abroad for treatment. He was rich and powerful, and no one dared to stop his rampage in the hospital until my best friend, Harper, appeared with my will a long time ago. I had it notarized that everything I owned would be left to her to decide. I said if someday I was bedridden, unable to move, eat, or drink, they shouldn't torment me, but let me go. She knew I hated pain the most. Harper swung her hand and slapped Marcus, pointing to his nose and yelling, "You have so much money. What the hell were you doing before? Now you're throwing your weight around, boss. It's too late. She's dying. Don't even think about taking her anywhere. Wherever I am, Shelby." Marcus stared at the will in Harper's hand, frozen in place. It was a long time before I heard him say, his voice choked with sobs, "Harper, please, let me take her. Believe me, she can survive. She can. She won't die. If she dies, what will I do?" Harper looked at him calmly and cursed coldly. "A cold-hearted man like you can live perfectly well without anyone. Stop pretending to be deeply in love here. You're just disgusting yourself and everyone else." She pushed Marcus away, sat by the hospital bed, and held my hand. As soon as she spoke, tears fell. She asked me, "Do you really not want to live anymore?" She cried so much that I felt sad too. I wished I could raise my hand and wipe away her tears for her, to tell her not to pity me. I was just going to have a very, very long sleep. Once asleep, the pain would be gone. She then asked me, "Can you wake up just one more time? You said you wanted to say a proper goodbye, so you wouldn't have any regrets when you left. You haven't said goodbye to Margaret. You haven't said goodbye to me. How can you bear to leave?" My tears fell with hers. The signs monitor suddenly beeped, and the doctor quickly told Harper to talk to me more. He said I was showing signs of waking up. That day, Harper held my hand, not even daring to drink water, and kept talking to me. She was crying one moment, laughing the next. It was quite frightening. I had originally planned to just die, but with her like this, it felt completely inappropriate not to wake up and comfort her. I struggled against my rotting body until, in the middle of the night, I finally opened my eyes. For over half a month after I woke up, Harper stayed by my side, never leaving. She was so devoted to caring for me that it was almost obsessive, feeding me, taking me to the bathroom, almost even helping me take off my pants. I felt anxious, wanting to get better quickly. If this continued, Harper would lose her mind. When she wasn't in the hospital room, I tried to go to the bathroom myself, figuring I could walk fine without assistance. But after I used the bathroom, my legs suddenly gave out as I came out, and I fell to the ground, hitting the sink, leaving my face covered in bruises. I struggled to get up, accidentally pulling off the cloth covering the mirror in the bathroom, and looked up to see a terrifying face. Marcus rushed in, pulling me into his arms, not letting me look again. He cursed in a low voice. "I just went to pay. Where the hell did Harper go? So damn useless." I couldn't push him away. Frowning, I interrupted him. "Don't talk badly about Harper in front of me. I don't want to hear it. She has her own life, family, and work. Unlike me, I am just idle all day, always causing her trouble." Marcus closed his mouth and said nothing more. He found a lot of tissues to wipe my face, seeing the patches of blood. His eyes reddened. He asked, feigning calmness, "Why didn't you tell me you were sick sooner? What are your lips for? You could have gotten better. Did you know that, Grace? Why did you have to be so stubborn and end up like this?" I calmly said, "Because I don't need you. I don't need your concern, nor your company. So whether you knew I was sick or not, it didn't matter to me, actually. I never deliberately hid it from Marcus. My report was right there on the table, where he could have seen it if he just looked down, but he never glanced at it. During those days when I was slowly wasting away, Chloe appeared by his side. The girl was younger than me, prettier than me, and more likable than me. For her, Marcus started staying out all night, so he couldn't see me collapsing countless times, in so much pain I wanted to die, crying and calling doctors for help out of fear. Looking utterly wretched, Marcus carried me onto the hospital bed, and as he bent down, A tear fell onto my face. He turned around and mocked me. Yes, Grace is so powerful. You can dump me whenever you want, and tell me to get lost, whenever you please. I know you don't need me, so you don't need me. After a long pause, he continued, his voice choked with sobs. But I need you. I didn't speak. I closed my eyes, pretending to be asleep. Marcus still didn't know why I broke up with him back then. That year, he became successful and came back for me, saying he wanted to marry me. I owed him a proper explanation, and I had intended to tell him everything. I wanted to tell him that all the harsh things I said when we broke up were lies. He was a good man. He deserved the best girl in the world, a happy family, healthy children, free from the burdens of poverty and the torment of illness. I had rehearsed these words countless times, hoping I could smile and tell Marcus to be happy from now on. No one knew how many times I had cried in the dark. I regretted so deeply that the girl who could spend her whole life with him wasn't me. The day I sorted out my emotions, I wanted to find Marcus. He was at the exclusive club for a business meeting, so a proper talk was probably out of the question. His voice sounded a little drunk after hanging up. I was worried and decided to go anyway. I tried calling his phone, but he didn't answer. When I arrived at the exclusive club, I had to search for him room by room. When I finally found him, looking through the glass on the door, all I saw was him passionately kissing a woman in his arms. I pushed the door open and walked in. He turned and saw me, showing no panic at all. I held back my tears and asked him, Marcus, are you playing games with me? He pushed the woman away, approached me, reeking of alcohol, and cornered me against the wall. He raised a hand to wipe away my tears, coaxing me with a smile. I was originally just playing games with you, but that day I went to your place and saw how pitiful you were, and I softened. Grace, what if I really married you? It's just that I don't love you anymore, so you need to be good. No crying, no making a scene. I have many lovers, and if you're always jealous, I'd be very annoyed. Hearing say he didn't love me anymore, my tears fell. Taking a deep breath, I forced myself to remain calm and whispered, Marcus, I came to tell you that I am not going to marry you. The reason we broke up that year was because of Margaret. Before I could finish, he suddenly squeezed my chin and cursed viciously. Don't you fucking mention Margaret to me. You don't need to push all the blame onto her. You and your mother are both equally greedy for money. Neither of you is any better than the other. Reeking of alcohol, he threatened me. Grace, when I say I am marrying you, I am not asking for your opinion. You'd best accept it gratefully. He said he didn't want to hear my explanation. He wanted me to suffer even more than he had, saying that would be fair. I looked at his face and suddenly felt he was a complete stranger. Perhaps all the kindness Margaret and I had shown him before was just unrequited. Perhaps that year I should have clung to him, made him be deeply worried, and let his spirit be crushed by poverty. I was truly too foolish before, so foolish that I felt sorry for myself, he continued. I hear Harper used to work as a hostess at the club, didn't she? She's quite lucky to have found a decent boyfriend. Tell me, if that guy knew Harper used to be a hostess, would he still want her? I trembled with rage, raised my hand, and slapped Marcus, cursing him for being a bastard. With his tongue pressing against the inside of his cheek, he smiled as he pinched my chin, saying, Grace, to get back at you, I can do even worse things. If you don't believe me, you can try. Marcus was ruthless. I didn't dare to test him. I was afraid of ruining Harper's hard-won good life. I could only tell myself that I had a wasted life anyway, and it wouldn't matter where it ended up, so I might as well get married. This revenge lasted for a long time, so long that Marcus grew tired of his games and wanted to reconcile with me, but I no longer loved him. 13. I ended up covered in bruises, and there was no hiding it from Harper. She was furious for the next 2 days, no matter what I did. She would scold me. She scolded me until I cried. I buried myself under the covers and grumbled. Is such a scolder, always picking on me. If he's so tough, take me to see Margaret. You definitely wouldn't be able to outscold her. Harper didn't say anything for a long time. After a while, She stroked my hair and gently coaxed me. "Once you better, I'll take you to see Margaret, okay?" I knew she was lying to me, and I also knew I wouldn't get better, but I didn't want her to worry, so I just smiled and nodded, saying, "Okay." I started trying harder to recover, taking handfuls of medicine. My arms were covered in bruises from all the injections, but I stopped complaining about the pain. Marcus watched from the side, then clenched his jaw and stormed out, slamming the door behind him. That night, I heard him arguing with Harper. "Grace wants to see Margaret. Can't you understand that? What's the harm in letting her go just once?" Harper yelled back, "I think he just wishing she'd die already. You bastard. You hate that she's lived too long, holding back your mistress from taking her place, aren't you?" I secretly wiped away my tears, hating myself for becoming such a burden, making things so difficult for Harper. 13. I stopped insisting on going to see Margaret, but my spirit slowly withered away. I started sleeping more and more, and my waking hours became fewer. I thought, it's time to say a proper goodbye to Harper. Perhaps it was a brief remission, but over the next few days, my body hurt more and more, yet my spirits became increasingly high. Chloe probably heard I was recovering well and couldn't sit still. She came to the hospital to see me while Marcus was away. The moment Harper saw her, she yelled, "Scum like you are not welcome here. You'd better get out now, or I'll beat you so badly your own mother won't recognize you." Chloe, however, acted completely out of character. She suddenly knelt by my hospital bed, crying and pleading, "Grace, I am pregnant with Mr. Marcus' baby. He almost dead. I beg you, please be a good person just this once and give me back my baby's father." She was 3 months pregnant, and I had been sick for 3 months. So, Marcus was saying he needed me, but then he'd turn around and lose himself in pleasure with other women, of course. Why would he need a woman who was about to die? He was just lying to me, thankfully. I hadn't believed him. Chloe cried as she reached out to yank my arm. I was so weak I almost got pulled off the hospital bed. Harper protected me, getting several scratches from Chloe's grasp. Suddenly, someone grabbed Chloe's hair and pulled her away. Marcus clenched his jaw, looking like he wanted to devour Chloe, and snarled, "Didn't I tell you? If you ever dared to mess with my wife, I'd goddamn kill you." Chloe's expression changed, and just as she was about to speak, Harper grabbed a pillow from beside her and threw it at their faces, yelling in a breakdown, "Take that bitch and get out." 14. Marcus dragged Chloe away. He said he wanted me to wait for him to come back, to hear his explanation, who would wait for him. I didn't care at all. Harper looked down at me and quietly asked, "Grace, are you okay? Are you uncomfortable anywhere?" I clutched my chest, pretending to be in great distress, and whined playfully, "My heart hurts so much. It'll only feel better if we go shopping." She was exasperated, but also found it amusing. Seeing that I'd been doing well lately, she agreed to take me out. I bought a baked sweet potato and got into her car. She was a germaphobe and never let anyone eat in her car, taking advantage of being sick. I gorged myself in her car. Sweet potato crumbs fell all over the seats, and Harper clenched her jaw, pretending not to see. I directed her to drive to a high-end bridal boutique. She was getting married in the spring, but I probably wouldn't be around for it. I wanted to see her in a wedding dress. She didn't ask why I brought her here, just followed me into the store, her eyes red-rimmed. We were the best of friends, connected by an unspoken understanding. I picked out a strapless satin wedding dress for Harper. While she went to try it on, I chose a bridesmaid dress for myself. After I put on the dress, I squeezed into her fitting room and took a picture with her. It was like I could still be there to send her off to her wedding. My taste was good. Harper looked especially beautiful in the wedding dress. I asked her if she wanted to buy it. She rolled her eyes at me and whispered, "Why would I buy it? It's ridiculously expensive. Just take a few more photos, that's enough." I smiled, left her to admire herself in the fitting room, and quietly paid for it. She was the best girl in the world. She deserved the most beautiful wedding dress in the world. I endured the cruel pain in my chest, left the bridal boutique, and took a taxi to the cemetery to see Margaret. Harper, this time, it's really goodbye, no jokes, no crying. Epilogue. After died, Marcus often wondered, what was she thinking when she signed the organ donation agreement? He hadn't expected that the day he dragged Chloe away would be the last time he saw Grace. She watched calmly as he and Chloe struggled, acting as she always did, as if she didn't care at all whether he had fallen in love with another woman. But he always felt that it was at that moment Grace's heart truly gave up. That's why she didn't wait for him to return, nor did she give him a chance to explain. Her body was taken by the hospital. He couldn't even get her ashes. Grace was truly ruthless. He began to regret not telling her then that Chloe was indeed pregnant. But the child wasn't his. That night at the bar, she drank too much and was dragged into the restroom and assaulted while drunk. By the time Marcus arrived, it was too late. Chloe was a master of playing the victim. She claimed she only got drunk because she couldn't handle alcohol, and that if Marcus hadn't upset her, she would never have experienced such a thing. Marcus knew, of course, that she was engaging in emotional blackmail. But seeing her crying so prettily, he suddenly thought of Grace. He caved. He helped send the scumbag who had assaulted her while drunk to prison and gave her money for an abortion. But he couldn't give her anything more. He had always thought Chloe was a very well-behaved girl. Although her temper had been spoiled by him, at least she was obedient. He hadn't expected that he had nurtured a greedy viper, which bit him fiercely when he wasn't looking. He thought Grace must have hated him when she died. Then he thought, why would she hate him, when it was clearly she who had abandoned him in the first place? In his dreams, he asked Grace again and again, why did you break up with me back then? You did love me, didn't you? The next moment, Harper shielded Grace behind her, pointing a finger at his nose and yelling, where the hell were you before? She tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen, and now she's dead, and you're asking, aren't you pathetic? Then woke up with a start from his dream. He wasn't afraid of Harper. He was afraid of hearing Grace say that she had stopped loving him long ago. His heart began to show problems. The doctor advised him not to be too sad. He claimed he wasn't. He was quite calm, and he had even started growing flowers on the balcony at his home. Grace's succulents were still there. When he found them, they were already all dead. He heard succulents were tenacious, so he wanted to see if he could revive them. When he came home at night, he would squat in front of the succulents and talk to them. Had once seen Grace doing the same thing. On a bright, sunny afternoon, she was hugging her knees, squatting there, and looked back to see him returning with another woman in his arms. Marcus slapped himself hard. He began to alter his memories. In them, his shadow was added to all of Grace's solitary moments. He would hold her tightly, gently kiss her, and stay with her forever and ever. Later, at a gathering, he brutally beat a chitter who was seeing other women behind his wife's back. His shady friends from before cursed at him. Are you out of your damn mind? You're constantly sleeping around yourself, yet you call us cheaters. Why don't you just drop dead? He had a breakdown. He smashed the exclusive club room, claiming they were all talking nonsense. He clearly loved his wife the most. It wasn't until they produced photos of him kissing Chloe that he froze and fled. He thought he must have been set up. He needed to figure out how to explain it to his wife. He didn't want her to get angry. Getting angry was so bad for her health. He rushed home. Just as he got off the elevator, he found a heavily pregnant woman standing at his door. He seemed to recognize her. She was the one from the photo. A wave of fear washed over him. Had this woman already gone to his wife? Had she been spouting nonsense and upset his wife? He raised his hand, grabbed her hair, and dragged her into the stairwell, snarling, Chloe, are you really not afraid to die? He squeezed her neck, forcing her back, further back, until Chloe missed a step and fell down the stairwell. Watching the steps stained with blood, Marcus smiled. How wonderful. No one could ruin his and Grace's relationship anymore. 2 weeks later, Marcus was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. His behavior was no different from that of a normal person. The only strange thing was that he constantly called a broken lucky figurine his wife. The figurine was very damaged, held together with glue, covered in cracks. and a piece was missing from its chest. As if it were missing a heart, Marcus always kept it on his bedside table, smiling as he looked at it. He asked it, "Wife, why haven't you come to see me yet? Marcus misses you very much, and you. Do you miss me?" A moment later, his eyes reddened, and he murmured to himself, "I forgot. A person without a heart doesn't know how to miss anyone." He suddenly remembered, a long time ago, he had lost Grace's heart.